don't know who Leah Thomas is. She is a biologically born man that was ranked at the very bottom.
And we're being generous today.
And we're being generous. And transitioned to being a woman and competing in women's swim. So she went from the bottom of the pole in the NCAA women's.
In the men's.
And then transitioned to women's and was like ranked number 2 or number 1.
Yep.
The girl that competed against her and tied is doing a press check.
That's amazing.
She's doing a press. And is it ever amazing?
And I can't even believe I have to sit here and say this, but that men, biological men, should not be competing against biological women in sports.
Pause it. I'm not sure why that's unreasonable.
Yeah.
That seems very fair.
I love the Daily Wire Culture War sports show.
Yeah.
Like they're like, we're gonna do sports, but with culture war.
And I think this has been rolling out their new. I don't know how old this show is, but yeah, it gets better. By the way, it gets into some satanic, spooky stuff. It gets good. Go ahead.
I have to come out and say that is sad in its own right, but we have to, because again, if we let it, there will be men pretending to be women that ruin women's sports.
Leah Thomas, the UPenn swimmer, failed at everything as a male swimmer and then began dominating as a female swimmer.
We all sat on the sidelines as Leah Thomas became the fastest female in the country, winning a national title in the 500 freestyle, beating out, Olympians, American record holders, the fastest females of all time. And that next day was when Leah and I raced each other, and we swam the 200 freestyle, and crazily enough, we tied. So when we went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second.
So disappointed in that photo.
Pay attention to these girls' facial reactions, by the way. When you see the facial reactions, it's something. Go ahead.
Which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
And so upon tying, I go behind the awards podium where they give you these like dinky little trophies and they parade you out. But the NCAA official looks at me and says, "Great job, y'all tied. The trophy goes to Leah.
What?
We'll eventually mail you yours." And so I kind of look at him and I quickly question him and I'm like, "Okay, I understand there's one trophy, don't account for ties, but what's your thought process on giving it to Leah? Why are you so adamant?" And he said, "Well, for photo purposes, Leah has to have it."
Wow. Yeah.
And so
It makes sense though. Like think about the alternative headline.
How progressive they are and all that.
Well, the alternative headline is patriarchy at work in women's sports, backlash and segregation proven by trophy going to biological born woman, not transgender woman.
Yep.
Although
I'm
it
all
was
for
just
that.
a tie.
I'm all for that.
obviously I knew what we were dealing with was wrong. What was happening was, it's wild. But it was at this moment that I realized not only were we being forced to compete against a man, 6'4", a man.
Yes.
Were we being forced to change in a locker room with a man? We were being sidelined to validate the feelings and the identity of a man.
They do Satanic, would you say?
Yes.
Really? Not surprised by that.
They practice these satanic things, just bizarre. They have bondage all over their bedroom wall where they
Leah
sleep
Thomas?
every night.
No, that's her
I'm
girlfriend.
talking like full.
It gets good. It gets good.
This is
like
all
50
everybody
shades,
can see. This is
like 50 shades of gray, like wall.
Yeah.
The same day they actually both went to the hospital to essentially get neutered. They wanted to stop all testosterone production, so they cut off parts of their male parts but left other parts, to which in a photo these testicles are in a jar.
Stop.
One more time.
This is a sickness of the highest order.
It's like volleyball or
Okay.
I wonder if that's a biologically born man.
It has to
just
be.
having his
It has
way.
to be.
softball or different contact
So biologically born man going up for the spike.
type sports.
Boom.
It's dangerous, and they're worried.
Although I would say that a woman could probably execute with the same amount of force on a. I mean, she got pinned right in the face. It's gonna knock anybody down.
Okay.
About their kids' safety.
A
even
man
at
is
like
going to hit a volleyball substantially harder than a woman. Go ahead.
Kiwi level, it's happening. And so they pulled their kids out of sports, which I don't think is the answer. I don't think anyone, regardless of who you are, even if you're a trans athlete, no one should be denied athletic opportunities. So pulling kids out of sports is silly. And so I think my message is to not lose hope. But in order for that to happen, it is just crucial we have more female athletes willing to take a stance. I have so many elite athletes, both male and female, who message me constantly and just say, thank you for what you're doing. I can't speak up because I can't lose my sponsors, or I don't want to lose my scholarship, or my job won't let me, all of these things, to which at first I felt honored and I understanding of that. But now as this has continued, I'm less understanding. People have to be willing to make sacrifices, and it stinks. It stinks, you know, having to go to a track meet. They say, take your mark. Don't go when they blow the whistle. And that is awful because as an athlete, you've worked, especially, I mean, a female athlete, you've worked your whole life to get there, but people have to be willing to take a stand and make sacrifices.
Well,
The amount of emotional blackmail that these schools are using, whether that be saying you won't get into grad school if you speak up, you won't be able to compete if you speak up, your school has already made your stance for you. The Ivy League actually sent an email to their swimmers, to which was in a response to the locker room situation. A few of the girls had conspired an email saying, hey, we feel uncomfortable, with some parents involved as well. The Ivy League sent an email back saying, if you feel uncomfortable seeing male genitalia in your locker room, here are some counseling resources that you should seek.
Yeah, bud.
That's gaslighting if I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, bud. Yeah, bud. So they full on told them, here are some resources for counseling if you're uncomfortable with seeing male genitalia in your locker room. Now, she's going to explain why.
To be fair, college campuses were never really good with handling SA on their campuses.
That's true. But listen to
they're enabling it.
Yeah, listen to how she explains like the process of even getting ready for this.
And then they were referred to the LGBTQ plus education center to educate themselves on the oppression that these athletes are dealing with. Even Leah Thomas's teammate, who I was just talking with, she wrote like an opinion piece for their school newspaper, to which they immediately said, we will not post that. So there's a bunch of different, I mean, they had to go to mandatory LGBT whatever meetings every week to educate themselves.
Jeez Louise.
That's brutal.
And so they were thought to be wrong for feeling uncomfortable in the locker room. They were thought to be hateful and divisive and segregatory and all of these different things because they didn't want to be biologically at an inherent disadvantage to men.
Okay, if we're looking at the Me Too movement, and there's despicable, there's inappropriate behavior from men. And certain stories might break and they go, well, I didn't do this, I just did this. They didn't get R-worded. I just Louis C.K'd them, you know?
Yep.
And a resounding, that is SA from everyone, mostly everyone. Like, it's perverted, it's SA. Even if you didn't like do something physically to them, but you flash them, you get arrested for that. Right?
Not here.
But unless
you identify.
it's T, now the flashing of that, which the Me Too movement would be like, that is absolutely SA, that's borderline R.
Yep.
That's mental R.
Yep.
Is now like, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and the people that are super anti-Me Too movement are like, that's not bad. That's just that guy just has a problem, but you shouldn't be affected by that.
Yeah.
And they're like, how dare you say that? But then when it comes to this situation, they're like, no, you need to go to counseling.
Yep. So we're going to go back to the thing we saw in the original video. And this is talking about the relationship that they have now. And this is the particulars of it.
Is now
so those
dating
photos we saw, they're about to explain who it was.
I already got the chills.
someone that used to be a man that's now a woman and they consider themselves lesbians. Wait.
Y'all just gay. What am I gonna tell them? It, like, you could achieve this same thing just without the, okay.
I actually had someone send me the girlfriend's Instagram page, to which I obviously looked at. It is in fact a male who has transitioned, so the same type of transgender persons as Leah. Very interesting dynamic, what they engage in, the different things.
Wow.
I mean, it's probably too explicit to even like say.
I mean, it's
Pause it. So this is the stuff being posted, and it sounds like it's posted by the girlfriend.
Okay.
The satanic stuff.
Generous term,
Right.
girlfriend.
The same day, they actually both went to the hospital to
Okay,
essentially get neutered. They wanted to stop all testosterone
So
production.
we saw this
So
earlier.
they cut off parts of their male parts, but left other parts. To which, in a photo, these testicles are in a jar just at their house,
I mean, here we are.
like a pickle jar?
like pickled balls.
I mean,
Yes.
But we're a week or so removed from, Satan.
There you have it, folks. I don't know how to feel about this as a dad with a girl. I lean back into what Jesus said, which is wisdom will be proven right by our children, and that you give this another couple years, and people are going to see the insanity of this, and you're going to see more folks banning this, which like her coach encouraged her to speak out. Oh, wow. She's out of Kentucky. Awesome. So I think you're going to see more, in my opinion, this common sense catch on. But what I would encourage you guys is if you, let's just say you're not a fan of Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro and all those guys, and I am by no means endorsing and promoting everything they say and believe. There's some clear overlap I have. But I think if you're not a conservative, you should still be concerned about this. You should still be concerned because it is going to affect you. And it can't just be the Daily Wires that care. Like it has to be the masses that start to care, because if I promise you, if they don't, this will come to a high school near you. This will come to a high school. If it's not already, this will affect your daughter on the volleyball team, or even worse, someone potentially getting a scholarship over your daughter on the volleyball team, or over your daughter on a basketball team. Like it will come to that. And so if you're like, Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro bad, okay, cool, man. Just hopefully we can agree that this is insane. This is insane. And if you're a liberal, Democrat, libertarian, I don't care. This is insane, and people definitely need to speak up for it. And the truth is, though, it's probably going to get way worse before it gets better. Well, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Really? But it does seem like, shout out to my man CP, he says non-conservatives seem to be more concerned. I know there was a big backlash here in Encinitas. They had the rag queen.
Encinitas is pretty conservative, though.
I always thought Encinitas was very liberal.
No.
See, I think these like places that were super duper liberal in the past and like artsy fartsy new agey,
yeah,
I think those places are gonna flip.
Yeah,
all the not in my backyard liberals are gonna be like, oh snap, and I think you're gonna see a flip there. If you want to go to Extra Mile, partner with us so we don't ever have to do any brand deals and we only have to answer to you and stay independent. Consider partnering with us on our online community for only $5 a month so we never have to make brand deal ads like this.
Our friends at Genucel Skincare have exciting news to celebrate in 2023.
Using Manscaped during my showers after workout has given me much more confidence.
And that's where Mudwater comes in.
True Classic has got your back.
All thanks to the sponsor of today's video, SayMine.com.
Established Titles is your opportunity to earn the title of Laird or Lady. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 7.99% APR to 19.99% APR, included 0.50% auto pay discount.
If you don't want us to make ads with brands you don't care about, sign up for our online community for as little as $5 a month to keep us independent and ultimately answering to you as our boss. You get all sorts of benefits like daily replays of our after party streams, exclusive access to our Discord community, and early access to our podcast interviews, all starting for only $5 a month.